In music, there's this effect that sounds like an echo. It's called reverb or reverberation for long. And you've most definitely heard this effect in action before. You can think of a singer's voice and that sound, that short echo right at the end of a singer's voice that makes their voice sound nice and smooth, has an emotional thing going on with it. There's a longing type feel. With reverb, you can also think of yourself in a bathroom, in a large bathroom, and your voice just bounces nicely off the walls. It's that time when you're at the mall or you're at some restaurant with your family, you walk into the bathroom and you shout, and your voice just sounds nice in the bathroom. It sounds smooth and well blended. That's what reverb is. The interesting thing about it is reverb is created by the sound waves bouncing off of the walls at a rapid speed. So when you're in that large bathroom, when you shout in the large bathroom, you create the sound waves, and those sound waves bounce off of the walls and quickly fade, creating that short echo, that short reverb effect. And it sounds really nice when you hear it. So they boomerang around at a rapid speed, and then they quickly fade. And reverb like this can also be pictured with water, right? You might be asking at this point, where are you going with this? We'll get there. Chill. Reverb can also be pictured with water. You can imagine yourself standing in a pond and the water is waist high, right? When you go to move position in a pond, in a body of water, you create little ripples. You create little waves that happen when you move, and those waves go out to the edge of the pond, the outer limit of the pond, and they bounce back to you, creating that reverb effect. It's the same thing with sound. You can picture it the same with sound. Those sound waves go out to the walls, and they bounce back at you, and they boomerang around the room. When you move in a pond, the waves, the little ripples you create, work the same way. They go out to the walls, the edge of the pond, and they bounce back. And when they come back to you, you feel those little waves hitting you at the waist. You feel that effect happen. So, where are we going with this? Well, if you've watched my channel before, we're all about getting what you want here. I do one-to-one coaching for entrepreneurs and sales pros on the self-concept, on this identity level. This identity level of getting what you want, the foundational layer of getting what you want. So that's where we're going with this, okay? The reason why anyone quits on their goal is because of this reverb. But the pond of water that we stand in is an energetic one. So you're not feeling this reverb in the form of water coming back to you and hitting you at the waist, or you shouting in the bathroom and the sound waves coming back to you. This reverb is different. So this means when you go to chase a new identity, when you go to shift identities, when you go to become the person who has everything that they want, when you go after that goal, that dream, when you go to move, become someone different, you create reverb. And this is at an energetic level. Like I said, this reverb doesn't come in the form of physically hitting you like water or hearing sound. It's an energetic type of reverb. So it comes in the form of feeling. These ripples, these waves that bounce back at you when you go to shift identity from your old identity to this new identity, it's energetic. It comes in the form of feeling. This reverb, these waves that bounce back at you from your movement come in the form of feeling. You feel confused. You feel uncertain. You feel fear. You feel flux. like things are moving, because they are. Because you're moving states of consciousness. That's where the reverb comes in. And we don't understand how that reverb works. We understand sound, that makes sense. We understand physically moving in a little pond of water and the waves go out and they come back. We can see that. We can see that one. We can hear the sound. This energetic one, we aren't aware of. But it works the same way. When you move to pursue that big goal of yours, that big dream, you create these ripples. And you move in this energetic pond and you create ripples going towards this new identity, right? Going towards this new identity. And you experience flux. You experience things in your outer environment. You're creating these waves for good reason, of course. And the only reason why you quit on this new identity, why you quit going towards this goal, this dream, this new standard, because this reverb is too painful and confusing, right? We just don't understand it, why it's there. We don't understand what it is. Those times where we just feel confused and just things are just breaking around us. But we have to remember, to move position in a body of water means creating ripples. Those ripples go out and they come back and hit you. And depending on the size of those ripples, those little waves or big waves, they can bang you around a little bit, right? So if you create a big enough wave physically in a body of water, actually that thing could come back at you and create flux, create confusion, uncertainty, instability, okay? So that's how we want to picture this. So when you go to shift identity from this old identity, this familiar you, and you go to move positions to this new identity, this unknown territory, you create ripples. And they're just ripples. It's just the effect that happens when you move. So when we're building this new identity for ourselves, it's these ripples that cause us to quit and give up. So that's the reason for this video here. This is a very foundational piece to getting what you want, understanding this layer right here when those confusing times come up. So these ripples can come in many different forms, right? They come in feeling, but it's feeling that, there's commotion in your relationships, things are happening in your relationships, you lose a job, right? Things seemingly start breaking around you in your external world. There's flux, change, commotion in your outer environment, instability, insecurity, vulnerability. And that reverb is normal.